All right, guys, this is Paul Singh, the market speculator with bullsonwallstreet.com, free weekly swing trade report for Monday, November 28, 2022. Today, we're going to talk about the market, technical analysis, market breadth, some of the key industries, some news events that are important this week, and then 7 stocks of interest this week that we might enter. All of these setups are looking very good as we head into December and year-end trading. Real quick here, we have the Black Friday deal going on still, Cyber Monday today. Some of our best deals of the year, so check that out. Go on bullsonwallstreet.com, click on check out Black Friday deals, and of course there's a swing trade report here. We've got the day trading as well. So check this out, some of the best deals of the year. All right, let's get to it. Market analysis. So if we look at SPY here, we see we're still in this overall topping pattern. And even though this has been a very strong bullish move here, and probably a little stronger than some of these other bounces that we've had, we are still in the topping pattern and the downtrend that started here with a top at about 480, and we're sitting at 399. We had made a low here on SPY at about 348, 350, somewhere in there. So this has been quite a powerful bounce, but we have not broke any trends. We're still making lower lows. As you can see here, every low here has been lower than the previous low, and we are also making lower highs. Every one of these bear market bounces has been lower than the previous bear market bounce in terms of where the pivot was. So until that changes, we are still in this topping downtrend here. So we've got a key level we're coming into. If we look at SPY, 200-day moving average, that is going to be key. If we can break that level, then maybe this week in early December here, late November, early December, then we will look to break this high right here, which would make our first higher high. And then maybe we could call this a higher low as well. So that would change the trend. So that's going to be key if we can get to that level before the end of the year. So we've got about a month to go here. So, but very powerful bounce. Now we want to see, do we get continuation? Qs, very similar pattern. It's been beaten down a little more. So we see more of a downtrend here. And IWM has been showing relative strength overall, which is very good. And it's making a bigger push towards the 200-day moving average here. And you can see here, it did not make a lower low here. It essentially tested the previous low. So not a higher low, but at least it wasn't a lower low. So maybe this is a bottom formation here in IWM. We will see, but it's good. We're going to get to market breadth now. Let's start with IWM and small caps. It's always good if we think of breadth when small caps are leading, or at least doing as good as the overall market. And they've actually been leading here. So that's one kind of feather in the cap for market breadth here. So confirming the bear market bounce that we are seeing, and maybe it's going to be a little more than a bear market bounce. Another thing, as we know, SPY is not equally weighted. The 500 stocks that make up SPY don't each make up 0.2 as they should. Apple alone makes up about 3%. The top 10 stocks, I believe, make up about 25 to 30% of SPY. So RSP is equally weighted, and that gives us a really good idea of what the overall S&P 500 is doing. So let's look here and notice here SPY under the 200-day moving average. But if we look at RSP is over its 200-day moving average. And this bounce has been stronger. So this is telling us that maybe the big guys aren't doing so good, but overall, market breadth is pretty strong here. And if we also look at the T2108, which measures stocks on TC2000, above their 40-day moving averages, very strong here. We're nearing highs that we haven't seen for quite a while. We tested it here, but good that we're seeing a lot of stocks above their 40-day moving averages. Again, confirming what we're seeing here in SPY. If these market breadth indicators were weaker, we wouldn't trust this bear market bounce quite as much. So, SPY, and the market itself, SPY, Qs, IWM, all very strong right now. Market breadth is strong. Some of the key industries here, let's look at energy, financials, software, which is a good indication of growth, and then semiconductors as well, which is a good indication of tech and growth as well. Let's start with energy, which has been leading the market. It's been in a bull market. Notice here that it is pulling back. It has made not all-time highs, but highs over the last, I think, 10 or about 10 years, maybe 9 years here. If we pull this thing out, you would see out here. Well, actually, let's go ahead and pull it out. You can see here. Here's the all-time high for XLE. We're pretty close to that. We're about 10 points away, but we've got a high here that's very significant because it's a high from for quite a while. We got right up to that level and pulled back here. Maybe we're going to get a deeper pullback, but it's good. This thing has been so powerful that now it's good to see some consolidation. And for us to get back in the energy, we need one of two things: either a pullback and a show of strength at support, or a break of this high would get us back into energy. Financials, very strong here. I mean, compare it to the S&P 500, which is below the 50-day moving average, or the 200-day moving average, sorry. Financials are above that range. We also know that financials had very good earnings. Most of the big financial companies had very good earnings this quarter as well. So definitely an area we should be paying attention to. Now let's look at growth. Here's software here. You see a very different pattern, really beaten down. Still a lot more work to do to improve in software and growth in general, if we think of growth stocks. But we are seeing some good indications. One of them is maybe there's some accumulation here. Maybe the big guys are seeing some value here. Look at all this big green here. Some big green here as well. So while these charts aren't great, we are seeing a little bit of improvement. And we also are seeing improvement in semiconductors here. Look at this very powerful bounce, testing the 200-day moving average. Our current positions and alerts here at Bulls on Wall Street. We're in NVIDIA here, and you can see a very similar pattern. We want to see that next move now in semiconductors, and NVIDIA is a semiconductor stock. We're also in Shopify, a growth stock here that is doing well and actually had some good news today related to Black Friday. And we want to see this now break out over the 200-day moving average. We like the bottoming formation. We like the big green volume that has come in during this bottoming consolidation here. Okay, all right. So that's the market. Now let's think about some news. We do have, as we start the week, we're seeing a little bit of weakness after a good week last week because the Fed minutes indicated that the Fed might start loosening up on their rate increases. We can see here SPY was very strong last week, pulling back a little today, down 0.76%. A few things on the radar here. We have a little uneasiness over what's going on in China, the protests over their lockdown related to COVID. And the reason that's so important to us here is because of the supply chain issues. And Apple actually warned today about their own supply chain issues. And if you look at Apple here, Apple, while SPY is down 0.75%, Apple's down 2% today, and it had been very strong. So that's something we have to keep on our radar. Powell is going to speak on Wednesday, and we want to see that he confirms what the Fed minutes said last week. So a less hawkish tone. And then we've got a bunch of earnings in a lot of growth stocks and retail stocks this week as well. So we'll pay attention to those. So key things to be watching this week. And then, of course, not just the news, but how does price action react to that news? So pay attention to that this week. So we got the market, we got the news. Let's look at some stocks. Netflix has been one of our favorites. We haven't taken a position in it yet, but it had very good earnings, has good subscriber growth. And you can see here was the earnings breakout. There's been some consolidation since, but this could be the catalyst now after some very bad news in Netflix. You can see how beaten down it was, but finally has some good news. And now we'll see if we can get that big breakout after this earnings breakout. And we've had a nice consolidation now, and now we'll see if it's ready for the next leg. Monster, we've been watching this one for a while. You can see here's the all-time high in Monster, and historically when this thing consolidates for a while at a high and then breaks out, it makes a nice run. We saw it here, and if we pull this thing out further, you can see some other big breakouts in Monster after it consolidated for a while. It's done that again, and now it has broke out. You see we have essentially 4 or 5 days here of green. Now we want to see it pull back a little bit, maybe even retest this level, and that would give us a good entry in Monster. So we're watching this one very closely. Another beverage stock, Cell H, very strong as well. Cup and handle pattern near all-time highs. You can see it hit this high, consolidated for about a year. Now this kind of cup and handle pattern, this little minor consolidation. Now we want to see the break. Might even be a good entry where it is right here. Ready, setting up for the next run. You can see something similar happen here, and it made a huge run, all over 100% gain back in 2020. So we're watching Sol H very closely. Another beverage related stock here. Starbucks, big company here, obviously, made a high here at 126, pulled back all the way down to 68, so lost about 50%, and has bottomed and made its nice continuation, another consolidation. This was an earnings breakout. A long ways to go here to the upside, so we're going to wait for a good entry. A little extended here right now, but we'll be watching Starbucks very closely. Medical devices stock SWAV has been consolidating for a while, but has been a relative strength stock. While the market had been doing this, SWAV had been consolidating in here. It looks ready to make a move. You can see the earnings breakout right here has basically been consolidating ever since. So we'll be looking for a good entry there. And then finally, Oxy and DEC. Let's start with DEC, retail-related stocks. And retail stocks have been doing surprisingly well in this high inflation environment. A lot of that is because people are using credit now. We're seeing some very high credit levels. People are borrowing quite a bit to make their purchases, but hasn't hurt these retail stocks. You can see DEC here and a lot of shoe companies as well. DEC's related to footwear. You can see here, very strong. Again, while the market has been doing this, DEC has been doing this. We got the earnings breakout here. Now we'll look for a little bit of a pullback and a decent entry there. And then finally, energy stock Oxy. You can see here has been consolidating. We've got a high here around 76. And we'll look for one of two things, either a test of these moving averages support levels that maybe we get a pullback play, or which I would like better, would be a breakout of the highs, which would set up the next big run after a big consolidation here in Oxy. All right, guys, so that's the weekly swing report. A lot of interesting setups. We've got 7 here. There's a lot more that we're watching. And you can get all that information again at the Swing Trade Report. Here is our chat room. We get a report every day, alerts, really good Black Friday savings deals. And now it's more Cyber Monday, but this deal is still going on. So check that out.